Look, hi everybody. My name's Simon Gibson. I'm the Graduate Program Manager for APM Group, based in Brisbane, and relatively new to the business and to Allied Health, but I've been around graduate recruitment for a long time. Very excited to be here. I know you've had some great organisations present to you so far, so thanks for hanging around and listening to what I have to say. So essentially, I'll go through a little bit of a spiel about the business, have a chat about our graduate program, and then, as I said, to Phil, open it up to any questions you might have, because it's more interested in hearing what you have to say and going from there. So you may have heard Katerina on the panel earlier on, a little bit about APM. We're a global human services organisation, and in the next little slide you can see a little bit more about the size and scale that we are. I'll talk to you today about our health portfolio and the various brands of businesses that sit under the APM Group umbrella, and what a graduate within our health portfolio means. So as you can see, we are truly a global organisation, over 7,500 people across the world, obviously a large portion based here in Australia, which is where we were started, over in Western Australia. Over 800 offices, and as you can see, last year we helped over 1 million of our clients and people, enabling them to have better lives. So when I look at this slide, I see opportunity. I see an opportunity to work in a range of locations across both not Australia, New Zealand, but also globally as well. And I think as a graduate, that's a pretty exciting prospect to think what or where you might be able to work both now and well into the future. So I'll go through these slides reasonably quickly, but it does just give you a good little snapshot of the different parts of APM. And as I said, we'll talk about the APM Health portfolio, which is what I sit under and what our graduate program currently sits under. You can see from a workforce development perspective, these are some of the employment services and areas that we work within. Focus a bit more on this workforce development one. And you can see second from the bottom, there's occupational rehab, occupational rehabilitation. That's what all our graduates come in as. So whether you're from a psychology background, OT, physio, EP, social work, something along those lines, all of our graduates will start as an occupational rehabilitation consultant, helping those people, and a lot of it's around the returning to work and injury management, that type of work. You can see a wide range of areas that we're looking after there. I'll step on into the community space, aged care, youth, disability assessments, justice, and it will make a bit more sense when I talk about the various brands that sit under the APM Group umbrella. And the last little one here around the injury prevention, training, outplacement, and workforce diversity and development as well. So what does that actually mean as a graduate? And I'll speak about the various brands. So APM Group, as an organisation, we have the various brands sitting underneath APM Workcare, Connect Workcare, Generation Health, which is a new acquisition which has recently come under the APM Group, Assure Programs, Communicorp, and FBG. So these sit under the health services. As a graduate within APM, it means you get exposure to all these various brands. So you would work in the 2-year program, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in some more detail, but you'll get access to APM Workcare, Connect Workcare, and Generation Health. And we're looking at bringing through Assure, Communicorp, and FBG, perhaps a little bit later on down the road. But definitely the 3 workcare businesses are where our graduates will get exposure to, and they'll physically get to work in those various brands over that 2-year period. As you can see on the left there, some of the types of degrees and backgrounds that we look for from our students. As I said, occupational therapy, exercise physiology, physio, psychology, social work, and rehabilitation counselling. You may have heard of some of these brands themselves. So Connect Workcare, I'm sure you've probably heard of. Generation Health, I said, which is a new acquisition into the APM Group, and then APM Workcare itself. Even across those 3, we've got a huge amount of people, various locations across the country. So it really is a nice, strong national presence. And again, from a graduate perspective, that speaks to me in terms of opportunity and career progression and choice. So anybody coming into the APM Group as a graduate, these are some of the things you can expect. And I won't go through all these in detail because there's a little bit there, but it's all about having a nice onboarding experience. It's all about providing an inclusive and supportive environment whilst you're here, giving you access to mentoring and shadowing experiences, and making sure that the hands-on work you're doing really aligns with what you're looking to achieve from a career path, but also from a personal and professional development path as well. So it is our inaugural, a new graduate program, so to speak, starting next year. We'll have our graduates starting with us in early 2022. And as I said, it's a 2-year program. And over those 2 years, you'll rotate across the various work care businesses. So the APM Work Care, Connect Work Care, and Generation Health. And then after the 2-year period, it's a bit of a choose your own adventure. So it is a permanent job from day one, which is great. Okay. And the 2 years is all about finding yourself, finding your feet. If there's an area that you'd like to specialize in, perhaps that's working with defense on one of the sites or bases, or perhaps it's going regional, and getting a bit of a flavor for what it's like to live in one of those fantastic regional towns and cities. You know, the opportunities are absolutely there. The options are yours. So it is at that stage very much a choose your own adventure. There's a big focus on ongoing professional development, both from the soft skills or human skills, which I think we sort of call them now, and obviously from a PD perspective as well. So we've got a great organisation called MCI Solutions, which sits under us as well, and they're a training organisation, so we can really tap into the resources that they have and provide a fantastic suite of products available to our graduates. So as I said, a very short presentation from me because I'm more of a Q&A type of person. Applications are open now for our 2022 graduate program. You can go to our website for more details. Obviously, you can see on the Grad Australia side as well. You can find some details there. Otherwise, jump onto APM Careers, have a look for the graduate section. You will see an ad that's open there at the moment. The recruitment process is very, very straightforward. So put an application in. Most of the application form is just tick and flick. So when you graduate, what are you studying? What university do you go to? Those types of questions. Attach a CV or a resume. No need for a cover letter if you don't want to. And then from there, we would ask you to complete a pre-recorded video interview. Okay, so that's run through a platform called Highview. You're probably fairly familiar with the video interviews at this stage. And then we'll go and do some virtual interviews. We'll do face-to-face if we can. Obviously, certain government restrictions are still in place for different locations. So the stage is kind of a little bit easier to run with a virtual interview. And then that's it. And as I said, we'll have our graduates starting with us in early 2022, around early February at this stage. And we'll take it all from there.
Awesome.
So I'm just going to jump out of that and stop sharing my screen.
Legend. Thanks for that, Simon. Appreciate you sharing. Here's a question which somebody asked previously, like what can a student do moving forward if they are going to apply for APM Group? How can they make sure they put their best foot forward to you? Like, are you looking out for any types of qualities? Are you looking for any types of references on resumes, any type of qualification? Like, what are you sort of looking for? What are your priorities?
Yeah, look, good question. And it's probably similar to what you've heard from Sheree and the previous speakers this afternoon. But look, as a grad, I wouldn't expect any experience. And I think any experience you do have is great, whether it be industry-based or whether it be from a different background, so retail, hospitality, community volunteering, anything along those lines. The main thing I'd say in that respect is have a think about what you've done in those particular jobs and what skills have you gained, and how can you transfer those into an OC rehab consultant position within the APM group. So all experience is good experience, okay? All experience is valuable. The main thing is understanding, what have I learned? What did I get out of it? And how can I then translate that into this particular job? So I get the one way to think of it is, you might be in an interview and to tell us about a time when you've worked on a particular project, or you've had to deal with conflict or something along those lines. And you might not have a really specific answer in mind, but again, think about, okay, well, I'm at university, I've probably got a casual part-time job, maybe I'm a part of a sporting team or something along those lines. So you will find there have been a lot of different situations or scenarios which you've been in, and it's about going, okay, how does this best translate to what they're trying to ask or what they're trying to ascertain?
Awesome. Beautiful. Another one. Hi, I just completed my Master in Public Health, Advanced. I have my bachelor degree in Medical Laboratory Science. I have 3 years experience and also worked as a disability support worker for 2 years. I'm just curious to know, what are my career prospects for your company?
Yeah, really good question, and a great diverse background. What I would suggest is, so from a very base level for the APM graduate program, you need to be able to register with APRA or potentially ASOC or ORSA, but one of the relevant bodies. That is part and parcel of the process, okay, and the eligibility criteria and process. If you've got that background behind you, and if you've got those skills, and again, I'll talk about transferable skills, if you see that being relevant to, and I'll talk about the occupational rehabilitation roles, because that's what we focus on within our graduate program. Think of it two ways. First way I'd say is, is the grad program appropriate, or do you feel that perhaps the level of skills you have and transferable skills would put you, I'm not going to say above a grad, but to the side of a grad. So there are always options to join parallel to the graduate program. The second one is if you are going to come for the graduate program, which is great, again, have a think about what have I done? How does that work? And again, post the graduate program, it is really a choose your own adventure. So you see, if you'd heard Katarina speak, it would have been, perhaps starting as an area manager, then a state manager, and then up to general manager. So there's all those different layers to the organization, but you would probably likely start as a consultant, then a senior consultant, and within those, you would have varying levels of responsibility and accountability as well. I think that's where if you've got prior experience or a prior career and you're pivoting, you can really bring that to the forefront and say, well, look, this is what I've done in a previous life. I know it's not the same as here, but I think this is how it can be applicable.
Perfect. I've got a bit of a follow-up question to that one. So I've got someone here doing a double degree in medical science and business, but they're aspiring to do physiotherapy. And they're just asking if I completed my current degree and a master's in physiotherapy and applied after that, would that still be acceptable as part of your required qualifications?
Look, so long as you can register with the relevant body, against APRA, ESSA, ASOC, and there is one more, I don't know, I'm missing it. I can't remember the acronym, but as long as you can register with one of those relevant bodies, then you're okay. Yeah, absolutely. That's basically it.
Are there any opportunities at APM for nutrition sectors?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say I don't know, and I do apologise. APM is a large organisation. Look, I'm going to say somewhere, whether it's in the grad program, probably not. Again, the role is focused on that occupational rehabilitation, but there would definitely be some part of APM. If you go onto the website, again, go to the career section. This is general advice. Have a search and see what opportunities are there. Make sure you sign up for job alerts. And if there's any community pages or community areas you can become a part of. But the main thing is, again, from the nutrition perspective, what type of job do you think would sit with an APM, and what clients would you be able to help in that respect, and then start filtering down, and how could you marry that up to a particular position?
Awesome.
Good question.
Another question, what would be the biggest difference maker between applying for, let's say, APM Group versus a Healthcare Australia versus anybody that we've seen on today, right? Everyone's got a lot to offer. And there's obviously a lot of other companies out there. So I'm curious, what would be the difference maker for APM Group?
Is this from you, Phil, or is this from a...
This is, no, it's from me.
Look, okay, so I've worked in mining and professional services, within a graduate recruitment perspective. As I said, I'm new to Allied Health. I guess if I were a student and I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm hearing all these great things, but what's the difference? The best thing you can do is what you're doing today. Get along to these types of events, hear from people firsthand. If you can go and speak with anybody face to face, whether it be on your campus or in your local region, and try and find out more about what that organisation is about. Fundamentally, the job might be very, very similar. Where you might see differences is around the culture, is around the workplace. Obviously, the size of an organisation may dictate future opportunities. Not always. Okay, that's a big may. Again, from a graduate perspective, what I will be looking at is in a graduate program, and assuming I'm going into a graduate program, what am I going to get? What's in it for me? And again, if I was a grad, I'd probably think that I want some learning, I want some development, love some mentoring, would like the opportunity to see different parts of the business. So, I'm starting my career out. It'd be great to understand, where do I fit in? What do I enjoy? What do I perhaps not enjoy as much as something else? So you can start making some educated decisions around where you want that further part of your career to go. So I'll be finding out as much as I can in that respect in terms of what is on the table for me. So it's a two-way street, right? What can you offer the business, but also what can the business offer you? And you need to be very comfortable and confident enough in going, okay, well, these are my must-haves, and these are I'm willing to negotiate in these respects. And I'm taking obviously salary off the table here, because at the graduate level, it's not negotiable as a rule. So it comes down to what's the grad program going to offer me? What learning development opportunities do I think I'll be able to get? And how am I going to grow as a professional in my chosen field by joining this organisation? And look, you might find at the start it's not the right fit, which is fine. Then there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that you're not good at your job. It just means sometimes things just don't fit, and then you'll try somewhere else. And that is part and parcel of having a career. In this day and age, you'll have multiple careers with multiple organisations, and that's okay. But as long as you are learning along the way and improving yourself and gaining skills, then I think you're on the right track.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Simon. Anything else that you'd like to add? Just that you feel like would be a good value add for students listening?
No, I mean, look, again, coming to these types of events is absolutely the right thing to do. Get as much information as you can, make informed decisions, and don't be shy in sort of putting your best foot forward. You know, it's your career, it's your choices. So yeah, put your best foot forward and always have a go. And if you don't ask, you don't get. That's one of my little mottos I like to live by. So
love it.
That's about it.
Awesome, mate. Look, thanks for jumping on, Simon. Do appreciate it. And yeah, for the students that are on, yeah, I'm sure they got a ton of value. So thank you, mate. Appreciate it.